Valley's leading news program with Rick Williams.
New developments tonight in the catastrophic bridge collapse in Baltimore. It is now a recovery mission.
We are going to suspend the active search and rescue efforts.
Officials say the 6 construction workers who were plunged into the river when the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed are presumed dead.
But we're going to do everything in our power to help these families find closure.
The container ship lost power and slammed into a support column around 1:30 this morning.
The whole bridge just collapsed.
The entire Key Bridge is in the harbor.
It is Tuesday night, and the big story on Action News is the latest in what has been a dramatic and devastating day in the Baltimore, Maryland area. The deadly collapse of the Key Bridge. And tomorrow, dive teams will continue to search for the victims. We have live team coverage on the tragedy tonight. Action News' Becca Hendrickson talks to experts about bridge safety. But let's begin with Annie McCormick, who's live in Sparrows Point, Maryland. And Annie, what's the latest from the scene there at this hour?
Yeah, and Rick, those 6 people that did remain missing are now presumed dead. State police said tonight that weather permitting, they're hoping to get dive teams back in the water tomorrow to help and find and recover their bodies.
Our heart goes out to the families.
The search and rescue mission for 6 people unaccounted for after this cargo ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge is now a recovery effort.
We do not believe that we're going to find any of these individuals still alive.
The collision involving the 950-foot vessel caused the 1.6-mile-long structure to collapse in mere seconds just after 1:30 this morning. 8 members of a construction crew working on the bridge went into the water. Only 2 were rescued. The NTSB releasing this drone video today as part of their investigation. First responders described the difficult conditions dive teams faced.
The last thing we want to do is put divers in the water with changing currents, low temperatures, very poor visibility, and so much metal and other unknown objects in the water.
No me siento bien.
Jesus Campos works for the same construction company and arrived near the scene this morning hoping for information, telling us in Spanish he is heartbroken upon learning he lost friends. The governor told ABC's David Muir the Mayday call from the vessel's crew reached first responders, thwarting more casualties.
Hold on traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching that just lost their steering.
These people are heroes. I mean, there are people who made it home to their families last night because our first responders responded in the way that they did.
In the search, sonar technology detected 5 vehicles in the water. As for the possibility of more people missing, state police said this tonight.
As unfortunate as it may be, it's a distinct possibility. However, we don't have any information to support that.
And those dive teams are expected back out here tomorrow at 6 a.m. For now, reporting live from Sparrows Point, Maryland, Annie McCormick, Channel 6, Action News. Rick.
All right, Danny, thank you. Well, the collapse of the Key Bridge raised questions about the infrastructure and safety measures on bridges in our area. Action News reporter Becca Hendrickson continues our team coverage tonight. She's live in Old City with more on concerns about bridge safety. Becca.
Rick, the people in charge of making sure that Philadelphia waterways are safe insist that every bridge in our area has safety protection measures in place to make sure that this sort of accident and subsequent collapse could never happen here. The stunning and horrifying collapse of Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge has some wondering if a disaster like that can happen here in Philadelphia, too.
In every failure, in every instance like this, there are things to learn. There are things to be incorporated into our design practices.
After examining the video, which showed a container ship strike a pier of the Key Bridge and lead to a collapse within seconds, experts say that bridge wasn't well protected.
In most cases, one would install what we call fenders or barriers around these supports, such that if a ship like this gets off track it could absorb some of the impact.
Let's look at the bridges around Philadelphia. The Delaware Port Authority says the Betsy Ross Bridge, which is in a lot of ways similar to the Key Bridge, has support piers called dolphins to keep ships from hitting it. The Ben Franklin and Walt Whitman bridges have collision prevention systems and are also protected by shallow water. And the Commodore Barry Bridge has large stone islands around its piers. But while Philadelphia may not be as vulnerable to a bridge collapse, its waterways will still feel the impacts from Baltimore. Its ports will be busier.
I mean, we've had COVID, we've had the bridge collapse in Philly, we've had lots of different issues, including inflation and global disasters. So supply chain managers have this covered.
While the supply chain may be ready to deal with this disaster, consumers may need to pack their patience.
It's going to take longer. Consumers are going to see that perhaps there's a delay in products and our roads are going to be more congested.
And Rick, now the Port of Baltimore is supposed to be open long before the bridge opens too, so the increase in traffic here is supposed to be only temporary. Still, the city of brotherly love ready to offer a helping hand during this disaster. Live here in Old City, Becca Hendrickson, Channel 6 Action News. Rick?
All right, Becca, thank you. Well, the bridge collapse is sure to have a major traffic impact for much of the East Coast, especially with the busy holiday travel weekend. About 30,000 vehicles travel on I-695 and cross the Key Bridge each day. Well, now the already busy Baltimore Harbor Tunnel and the Fort McHenry Tunnel will have to absorb that traffic. The Fort McHenry Tunnel, which is part of I-95, already handles about 115,000 vehicles every day, so you can expect delays in this part of Baltimore. We will continue to update you on the bridge collapse on our 6 ABC app, and Action News Mornings will have the latest developments overnight. In other news now, a tragic update this evening. Teams in Delaware County have ended their recovery efforts in their search for the remains of a 6-year-old girl in Chester Creek. Crews have been using cadaver dogs, choppers, drones, boats, and sonar equipment, but those search efforts turned up nothing. Authorities say Lineja Brooker was playing with friends near the banks off 8th Street Saturday evening when she suddenly slipped and was swept away. New information tonight on a story we first brought to you on Action News at 11. 3 workers are now facing charges after a 7-month-old baby was left inside of a closed daycare here in Hunting Park last month. Gabriela Rivas, Janae Smith, and Saidia Thomas Ishman are all charged with endangering the welfare of a child and conspiracy. The incident happened at the daycare on the 4400 block of Whitaker Avenue. The child's parents say the center was closed when they arrived for pickup. New at 11 tonight. 2 teens have been charged with setting the fire that damaged a Newark Acme on Sunday night. The suspects are both 14 years old. The fire at this store in Grove Lane happened Sunday evening. Firefighters say the sprinkler system helped contain the flames until they arrived. No one was hurt, but there was significant fire and smoke damage, estimated at $250,000. All right, now to AccuWeather, and temperatures remain seasonable, but rain is on the way. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan is here timing it all out for us and when the precipitation will set in. Cecily.
Hi, Rick. And we will have some showers breaking out likely tomorrow afternoon. Satellite radar showing you can see lots of clouds, but the leading edge of that precipitation shield, that rain, is kind of falling apart. So we really have to wait for that line that's developing across Ohio to swing on in. And that'll happen tomorrow afternoon and mainly north and west of Philadelphia. Future tracker showing by 3 o'clock, some of that is starting to move into South Jersey and Delaware, and then a wave of low pressure develops along that front, and that brings us more rain Thursday morning into the afternoon. And by 3 o'clock, you can see that the heaviest rain will be east of Philadelphia, but it does look now that we will have some lingering rain into the afternoon hours. So breaking it down tomorrow, a few showers developing mainly west of I-95. We're looking at about 1/10 to 1/4 inch of rain. Now, into Thursday, a rainy start to the day. Will be drying out into the afternoon from the west to the east, and a wide range in rainfall totals. Some areas north and west could get less than a quarter inch. South and east Philadelphia could be more than an inch of rain. I'll talk more about this, what it means for the Phillies home opener, and of course an early look at your Easter weekend coming up in the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Rick?
All right, Seth, we'll check back in later. Thank you. Leaders with Boy Scout Troop 100 out of Evesham Township are searching for a trailer they say was stolen. Troop leaders discovered the trailer missing over the weekend, but they believe it may have been taken a few days earlier from the parking lot of a church on Eastboro-Medford Road. It contained thousands of dollars worth of camping gear. Well, church leaders are looking through surveillance video, hoping to spot any clues that might help identify who's responsible. Evesham Township Police are also investigating. Yeadon's former police chief and the borough have settled a federal racial discrimination lawsuit for $2.5 million. Anthony Paparo filed the lawsuit alleging racial discrimination and denial of due process after he was fired during a borough council meeting back in 2022. Paparo, who is white, claims borough officials fired him because they wanted to have a black chief to better represent the community. The council says Paparo was let go over $380,000 in overspent funds. Much more still ahead on Action News tonight. A Philly slugger is going 3 for 3, but this time with a new baby. Also dreaming big, we have the winning lottery numbers as people around here share their champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Also new details about what investigators seized inside Sean Diddy Combs' homes as the hip-hop producer is responding this evening. And the Eagles Insight. Birds owner Jeffrey Lurie explains why he's standing by Coach Nick Sirianni. All that and much more when Action News comes right back.